Hi Leandro, this is going to be my presentation for my ideal class. As you can see here, okay, this is my PowerPoint that I'm going to be sending to you. Okay, the school is Francisco Miranda, and this is a really special school. This school believes in creating or building identity and also collectivity, the sense of community. Um, when we interviewed some teachers and people responsible for the educational project here, um, they told us that they believe that everybody is an individual, right? So everybody is different. The idea here is that difference is not an issue, but difference can be lived inside the school. As life happens outside the school, life also happens inside the school. So it shouldn't be some they shouldn't create an impact in the sense of that students have a context outside, and when they go into the school they feel some they feel that they are living in another world, so they really feel stressed or threatened. No, the idea here is that they feel that they are living the same life inside the school. So that's why it's really important to build identity. That they can feel really unique, and they can feel that as individuals they can develop as they want, but also at the same time as respecting themselves they have to respect the others. That's why you're not going to find any person like responsible for discipline inside the school, but they believe in self-control and self-discipline. That's really important here. So that's why building identity and community is really important, and that's why I chose the principles of the community language learning in my class. Okay, this is going to be, as you can see here, in a third grade. There are 20 students, and they are really active. So that's why I also thought about preparing a class that in, that can include a lot of movement, as they are kinesthetic learners. Um, so my class is going to be what can you play. It's going to last 90 minutes because it's a two-module class. The objective is students will recognize the use of verb to play, differentiating between sports and musical instruments. Okay, this is going to be held in the music classroom, and musical instruments and some sports balls will be used. Okay, the first activity is going to be um, how are you really? This is going to last 5 minutes, and I believe that that I'm going to do this every class. So as this is my ideal class, I'm going to do this in every class. The idea here is that um, students can feel relaxed. Students can feel also part of the class, so they are going to express themselves. This is not going to be enough that they say I feel okay, I'm fine. No, it's really important here that they can express themselves, their feelings. So they have an A2 language level, so they can express themselves and they can understand also, but familiar words and language. Okay, so that's why it's not really important that they can express like really complex vocabulary or phrases or language, but the most important thing here is that they can express and they can feel relaxed. So Spanish is going to be permitted, especially in the first stages, because the most important thing in the first stages is fluency and not accuracy, and then we're going to be really interested in getting accuracy, but also fluency. All right. Next, we're going to have an activity. This is going to be for them to remember what we did last class, and this was the vocabulary last class. What can I use? This is going to last 10 minutes, and we're going to remember that vocabulary. So the idea here is that they are going to remember what can I use or what I cannot use for a trip. So I'm going to have some flashcards in the front of the class. They're going to one by one. They're going to select one flashcard. They are going to paste it on the board in the part. For example, I can use this for a trip. I cannot use this for a trip. They are going to pick, for example, special shoes. Yes, I can use special shoes for my trip. I can use a map for my trip, a compass for my trip, etc. Or they can pick a TV. Oh no, I cannot use this for my trip. Bam, and they are going to paste it on the board. Next, we're going to have the presentation of the new vocabulary and content, instruments and sports, and also verb to play. So in the first part, I'm going to show them a lot of pictures, images, whatever, of some musical instruments and sports. So they are going to select which ones they want to work with. So the guitar, the violin, the flute, whatever they want, and then the sports also. It's more likely to be football, basketball, tennis, ping pong, etc. But they are going to choose that, and they are going to choose also which ones we are going to repeat a lot, so they can feel really comfortable with the pronunciation. If they don't know how to pronunciate, for example, um, the guitar, they're going to be, can you repeat the guitar, guitar, guitar? We're going to repeat that until they feel satisfied. And the same thing with the verb to play. Here, the important thing is that they need to recognize the difference between the use of verb to play, or I can play an sport, or when we are going to use the verb I can play an instrument. So, for example, you know that when you use an instrument, a musical instrument, you have to say the. For example, um, I can play the violin, I can play the guitar, I can play the drums. So they are going to recognize the use of the word the. That is not used when you use a sport. A sport, for example, I can play football. I cannot or I can't play basketball. You don't use the word the. This is really important for them to recognize. After this introduction of the content, we're going to go to the main activity. It's going to last 30 minutes. The idea here is that they are going to find themselves in the music classroom. They are going to see a lot of musical instruments and sport balls that we're going to add obviously to that room. And we're going to select some groups. I'm going to assign numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And we're going to make groups of all the ones, all the twos, all the threes, and so on. And they are going to be assigned to some stage inside the classroom. They are going to find themselves near some musical instruments and sports balls. So they are going to say, well, I can play the flute that they have near them, and they are going to have a little demonstration that they can play the flute. And after that, they are going to run to another part of the room, and they are going to show that they cannot play another thing. For example, I can play the flute, but I can't play the drums, and they are going to do some demonstration of that. The same happens if you can't play the first instrument or sport that you have in your stage, and you are going to run to the other part that you actually can. For example, I can't play the violin. I'm going to run, but I can play football, and I'm going to do a little demonstration. After everybody did this activity, we are going to go to the next stage. This is going to be what can others play. This is going to last 20 minutes, and this is for them to be in pairs, and in their notebooks they are going to write as many action as they can remember that their classmates did last activity. So they are going to write, oh, Maria can play the violin but she can't play football. Oh, Alonso can't play the drums but he can play the flute, etc. And when they finish being in pairs, they are going to be reunited as a whole class, and they are going to try to find all the correct answers as a group. Okay, so they are going to discuss a little bit, and they are going to get all the answers right at the end. And as a closure activity, we're going to have how did you like it? All right. So in this part, students will be will feel free to express themselves. How do you like it? Okay, I really felt comfortable. I liked it. Didn't like it, etc. Why? Why not? As this is a deeper reflection, they need to use English as well as Spanish, and I'm going to use them to express some of their ideas. And this is really important for them to feel part of the class. I'm going to record another video about the the approaches and the theory, because this is finishing right now. Okay, so thank you for hearing the class, and now I'm going to present my theory.